Welcome back to the channel. Before we dive in, do me a quick favor right now, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment telling me whether you think South Carolina just found its next game changer. Because what Dawn Staley said, and more importantly, what she didn't say, about Alicia Tournebize has sent quiet shockwaves through the SEC. And the deeper you listen, the clearer it becomes why this moment matters so much. Stay with me until the end, because this story is bigger than one practice. Dawn Staley doesn't rush praise. She doesn't oversell. And she absolutely does not hand out public compliments unless she believes they matter. That's why when she finally broke her silence on Alicia Tournebize after her very first practice with the South Carolina Gamecocks, people across the conference leaned in. Because Staley has seen everything: elite recruits, future pros, national champions, and she measures players against standards, not hype. Alicia Tournebize arrived without noise. No flashy rollout. No exaggerated promises. Just a player stepping into one of the most demanding environments in women's college basketball. And that alone sets the tone. At South Carolina, nobody is handed a role. You earn it through defense, effort, discipline, and how quickly you absorb the culture. That first practice was never about stats. It was about habits. And according to those inside the gym, Tournebize didn't just blend in, she stood out in ways that matter most to Dawn Staley. Not because she dominated the ball. Not because she tried to prove something. But because she understood spacing. Communicated. Competed on every possession. Made the simple play when it was there, and the hard play when it was required. Those are the details Staley watches closest. When Staley finally addressed Tournebize publicly, her tone was calm, but deliberate. She spoke about readiness. About attention to detail. About how quickly Tournebize picked up concepts that usually take weeks to internalize. That alone raised eyebrows across the SEC. Because South Carolina isn't searching for talent, they're searching for trust. The Gamecocks don't rebuild. They reload. And every new addition is evaluated not just on skill, but on whether they elevate the standard. Tournebize's first practice suggested she wasn't overwhelmed by the pace or the expectations. That matters more than points ever will. Behind the scenes, the ripple effect was immediate. Teammates took notice. Coaches adjusted drills to push her further. And the energy in the gym shifted, not dramatically, but purposefully. The kind of shift that signals competition has just intensified. That's when the rest of the SEC should have started paying attention, because Dawn Staley teams are at their most dangerous when a new piece fits seamlessly into the machine. No disruption. No ego. Just quiet impact. Tournebize didn't arrive trying to replace anyone. She arrived ready to contribute. And in Staley's system, that's how roles expand quickly. What makes this moment even more significant is the timing. South Carolina is already loaded with experience, depth, and championship DNA. Adding a player who can adapt immediately doesn't just strengthen rotations, it creates matchup nightmares. It forces opponents to prepare for yet another variable in a system built on flexibility and pressure. Staley alluded to that without spelling it out. She talked about versatility. About comfort playing multiple roles. About how Tournebize's presence allows the staff to experiment more freely. That's coach speak for something very real. The chessboard just got bigger. And when South Carolina's chessboard expands, the rest of the conference feels it. Because this isn't about a freshman learning the ropes. This is about a player who looks like she understands why South Carolina wins. Who doesn't chase highlights? Who chases possessions? The first practice wasn't loud, but it was definitive. Veterans noticed how Tournebize competed defensively. How she didn't back down in drills. How she asked questions instead of forcing answers. Those are survival traits in a program where accountability is constant and expectations never dip. Dawn Staley didn't call her a star. She didn't need to. What she did instead was far more telling. She spoke as if Tournebize already belonged. And belonging at South Carolina is earned, not given. That's why this moment sent shockwaves quietly rather than loudly. Coaches around the SEC understand what it means when Staley speaks early and positively. It usually signals that something is coming, and soon. South Carolina's dominance has never been about one player. It's about layers. Depth. Relentless pressure. And Tournebize's first practice hinted that she adds another layer opponents didn't plan for. Not flashy. Not forced. Just a fact. And the scariest part? This was day 1. No chemistry fully built yet. No comfort established. No system mastered. Just raw understanding and competitiveness. That's the foundation Staley builds champions on. The story of Alicia Tournebize at South Carolina is just beginning. But first impressions matter most in elite programs. And this one landed exactly how Dawn Staley likes them to: quiet, sharp, and undeniable. So now the question isn't whether Tournebize will play. The question is how fast her role grows. And if history is any guide, when Dawn Staley breaks her silence early, it's because she sees something that's about to matter when the lights are brightest. Now I want to hear from you. Did South Carolina just add another difference maker, or are we reading too much into one practice? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button if you love behind-the-scenes basketball stories, and subscribe, because the SEC race just got more interesting, and we're covering every twist. Before we wrap this up, let me hear from you. Does Alicia Tournebize look like the next difference maker for South Carolina, or is this just the beginning of a longer adjustment? Drop your thoughts in the comments because the best conversations always happen down there. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button, it really helps push this video to more hoops fans, and subscribe to the channel for more behind-the-scenes stories, real analysis, and breaking updates from around the SEC and women's college basketball. We're following this South Carolina season closely, because when Dawn Staley adds a piece that fits this quickly, history tells us something big usually follows. Turn on notifications so you don't miss what comes next, and I'll see you in the next one.